So what kind of experiences have shaped who I am today? It's interesting thinking through even that very question and what images and memories pop up in my mind. Um, the first set that pops up is the idea, like when I was 16, I was at a youth retreat, and a pastor, a car pulled up in the parking lot of this retreat center, and a pastor got out. I didn't know he was a pastor. I remember he was wearing black jeans and a hooded sweatshirt. And this older guy, came out, and I just greeted him. He was like, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to our campsite. Can I help you find anybody, or can I help you get anywhere?" What I didn't know was he was a pastor who was also our speaker at the retreat. And as a 16-year-old, just being friendly, um, he kind of took notice of me and told me later that he wanted to help encourage me in ministry and help develop me. And through that experience, he connected me to a church camp ministry that I was able to staff on for 4 summers. So I think thinking back, like that was a really profound moment. I didn't even realize where being able to talk with this man and his desire to see me grow in ministry opened a series of doors for me that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So as I was able to be a camp counselor, it wasn't just the experience or the summers out by the lake type thing, but it was the chance for me to start seeing myself in terms of spiritual leadership. This for me to start imagining that I could spend my life making a difference in kids' lives. I learned how to lead devotionals. I learned how to teach the gospel before the kids. And as I was doing those things, it wasn't just the activities themselves, but it was how those activities were teaching me about a version of myself that I could learn to love, a version of myself that cared about things like kids' souls and cared about how issues of pornography or issues of children in abusive homes, how that affects who people become. And I learned to care about those issues at summer camp as a counselor, as a cabin leader. Another experience that was really, really meaningful for me was when I took a few months with World Gospel Mission to go to Argentina. And during that time, that was an experience. Those 4 months, I think, helped me understand not just my own sense of mission and purpose, but a broader perspective I would have about the world. I know at that time my faith was personalizing, so it had been largely based on my parents and based on the church I'd attended. But at that time, I was asking a lot of really hard questions about who I was and who God was and if I could trust Him and if He'd be real. I read like 9, 10 books in the period of 4 months, just trying to understand more about the nature of God and more about if He was reliable. So there was this kind of inner journey going on while there was a physical journey that I had taken too. So not only was I discovering a renewed faith, a faith that made sense, but being able to step out of the cultural boundaries of my church and the cultural territory was so familiar with, and to step into a whole nother way of being, a whole nother way of doing and thinking, the experience enabled me to see not just God or myself, but everything with a different light. I was able to be a part of some neat projects and some neat opportunities. I was able to just to begin to wonder about a different kind of life than the American dream that I had been fed through my culture. Particularly, specifically through that time, I learned a lot about my own sense of purpose and vocation. I was working with a missionary on a project where we would be developing kind of a community of students living together, studying together, working together, interning together. And that vision really caught a hold of my heart. It really just resonated with who I am and who I wanted to be. Um, one of the reasons I'm a resident director is because building that program with the missionary, developing the initial dream of this institute for young men, gave me the idea of what it would mean to spend my life as a cabin leader for college students, for students who are exploring their life purpose and meaning. Um, later, it would be several years later, but I would come to realize that being a resident director really does a lot with that kind of a job. Um, and then more recently, I think just stepping into the role of being a resident director at Indiana Wesleyan, I found myself embracing more aspects of my personal strength set, my sense of calling, my sense of mission, and understanding myself better as I've been able to live it out day to day with the students here. So those have been definitely some major kind of influential moments and experiences that have shaped who I am today.